What I found interesting today, and maybe even surprising a bit in the demonstrations today, is the diversity of people working together, and the diversity of problems they are addressing in trying to solve the big questions that were asked of them. And that's the only way we can achieve true interoperability, is by having many people work together, by having many different use cases working together, being tested in real life scenarios.
Testbeds have shown to be a very effective way to prove out a standards capability before you actually mandate the standard into your architecture.
We're attempting to fulfill the President's National Strategy for Information Sharing and Safeguarding. And the Open Geospatial Consortium, as a member of our Standards Coordinating Council, is developing important capabilities through projects like the Testbed that are going to be applied to this national strategy and help move forward on those objectives.
It provides that link between the theoretical of using a standard to the actual implementing the standard. So now the rubber's hitting the road here. So now we get to use a standard in a real world situation and determine how well that standard is really going to work.
In developing civil resilience applications, Invisha's technology has to be integrated with a whole range of other data providers in critical situations, and interoperability provides a really key role there.
Right now, whenever we're developing projects and developing systems, we're looking at how we're going to be able to build interoperability into that solution.
Interoperability is essential to the fulfillment of our mission. We don't attempt to tell any organization or agency how to do their own business. We focus on the white space between them. And it's essential for standards and architecture and technical solutions to enable information to move from one organization to another in a form they can discover, they can access, they can understand, and they can process to do their own mission with greater value from the information they gain from their partners.
When a group of 5 companies get together in a test bed, we do at times come to that aha moment where we all go, aha, this is how this is really should be working. And sometimes that then will require slight change to the specification itself and how something is worded and so on. But it's hugely important so that down the road, when the specification really gets out into wider use, then there's no misinterpretation.
One of the issues that's extremely complex is how do we forecast climate change and the impacts it's going to have on our society, on our environment. And standards are going to be a critical link to that. And in order to bring all the different data sources together from different disciplines of science and sensors on the ground and other assets, standards are absolutely critical. And I'm delighted that our testbed is dealing with these issues of how to bring the short-term data, the scientific data, the long-term forecast, the models together using standards. We're not going to solve these problems unless we have standards as an underpinning factor in the way we address climate change in the future.
You don't prove the pilot, you don't prove the concept is feasible, implementable, and scalable until you run it through a test bed and see if it actually works.
I think what the test beds are really about is getting out there and implementing the latest specification, the latest standard, finding out how well this is really going to work.
I think that's the power of the testbed, is taking things from global issues and localizing them with people who have the real problems from day to day.
An opportunity that I continue to see in the work that I do is helping the end user in government or in the private sector or any type of public safety response, which is my world, is figure out how to leverage the power of 21st century technologies to improve their day-to-day job, whether that's becoming more efficient, becoming more effective, becoming more collaborative, but how can they translate that 21st century technology into that improvement in their daily work?
Interoperability is a holy grail, and getting intra and inter performance to take place is hard because we're doing both people integration and machine integration. When you drive both of those pieces together in a test bed, and we drive it across several different use cases, a whole bunch of learning takes place in a short period of time. So what we got out of this test bed sets us up for a bunch of exciting opportunities in the test bed that begins again in another 6 months.